So if you're a golfer that struggles with sway in your golf swing, I'm going to show you in today's video how a tip that's less than 2 seconds is going to get you hitting the ball sweetly like that, longer, more accurate than ever before. So hopefully if you do struggle with swaying in your golf swing, you'll be excited by that opening little sequence. Now, for me, first thing to understand is what is sway? It's something that happens in the backswing, and it's when, as we make our backswing, our hips move laterally too much, stops the hips turning, and it makes it incredibly difficult to try and get back the correct amount so that we control where the lowest point of our swing is. And when we're hitting balls from the ground, we'd like the low point ahead of the golf ball, so we create that ball and then ground contact. Now, if you are somebody that sways a lot in your swing, very often you'll find that sometimes you do it just the right amount, sometimes you do it too much and you lose strike, sometimes not enough getting back to the ball, and you might fat it, thin it, or top the golf ball. So I think a lot of golfers actually get too much of that lateral motion in their backswing because of something they do at address. So they'll set up to the golf ball, and a lot of golfers, myself included, might feel that they're a little bit restricted with that hip, so how much they can turn. So what they get told is, turn that foot out, and that will allow a little bit more hip turn. And in theory, it will do. But the little problem it creates is that trail knee will follow the toes. So as you make that backswing with that foot turned out, we can see how we could move a long way off the golf ball. And then, like I said, you've got no chance of getting that solid contact with the ball. So I actually want you to do something kind of very opposite of what you've probably been told. So you're going to take your normal address position, and then I actually want you to turn that foot inwards a little bit. So worst case, it's actually pointing straight out ahead. Now, the first thing that's going to change is how much that knee can actually move side to side. So it can only move a tiny bit, and then the leg will straighten more, and that'll get that hip turning back. But it'll make you feel more centered in the backswing and won't allow you to move excessively that way. So we'll do a couple of practice swings first. So square off that foot. I might even open that lead foot out a little bit more and make a couple of swings. And what's very noticeable, even with me, is I actually start touching further ahead of the golf ball without actually trying to do it, just letting my body move better. So from there, and it feels a little quicker, a little easier to time, but obviously the proof is then when the golf ball's there. So instantly I want to just open that foot out a little bit, just a habit. So from there now, I'm going to make my normal swing. Strike felt great. You can see numbers there, just under 85 mile an hour club speed, 116 ball speed, 4.3 inches ahead, so the club's travelled down 5 degrees, and 158 carry. Now, I would say as a general rule, and comment below if you don't agree with this, I always get my low point ahead, but I never feel I get far enough ahead to really get that kind of powerful strike. Now, most golfers I see really struggle getting ahead at all, so this is a massive help that if you're going from there, moving around, it can feel like your body's got to move a huge distance. Now, let's say for argument's sake, you from here, you moved 4 or 5 inches this way. All of a sudden, you've got to move 6, 7, 8 inches back in a very short space of time to get those kind of numbers and that kind of delivery. Whereas if by squaring that foot off, it means that we don't move as much this way. It means we don't have to move as far in that short space of time. So not only should you be more consistent, but also a little bit more powerful as a result of that. So again, I'm going to square that off and then just make my normal swing. I'm not trying to do anything else different. Again, feels very solid, similar club head speed, ball speed down slightly, but low point still 3.5 inches ahead and 156 carry. Now, the big thing is, obviously, once you're striking the ball consistently and swinging at a similar speed, we should start seeing a much more consistent distance. And I think for most golfers, it's that frustration that when they do move around a lot, they feel the one that's really well struck gives them that kind of distance. But the difference between the good one and the bad one front to back is huge because of strike. And anytime you're struggling to control where that low point is, predominantly because of that lateral movement, that's going to create issues in your golf swing. Now, I'm not saying that lateral movement's not important. It's one of the 3 ways that we generate speed. But when I see golfers face to face, there's not many golfers benefit from a huge amount of move in the backswing. Most golfers, there's too much this way and not enough this way. So if we can again square that foot off, really commit to a nice aggressive swing. That felt the best of the lot. So slightly more club head speed, slightly more ball speed. Again, nearly 4 inches ahead. And then as a result of that, a little bit more speed, a tiny bit more distance. And I've said this in videos I've done in the past, you know, I don't really struggle with hitting ball first, but always felt that that ability to get that low point a little further ahead for me would really take my golf game, certainly my iron game, to that next level. And I think for most golfers, if you're watching this and you've struggled with that sway, this will be a game changer. Now, I don't mind experimenting a little bit when I'm in here. So I've had my foot very squared off. I'm actually just going to turn it in very, very slightly. I mean, it feels very different at address. And again, make a swing. Again, we see 8 to 7 mile an hour club speed, 116 ball speed, 3.5 inches ahead, and 160 carry. So if you do struggle with swaying, and it is a backswing move, slidings towards the target, but if you struggle with that sway, and it is a very definite opportunity that you've been told to open that foot out, square it off. Remember, that knee is going to track where the toes are. So the more you open the toes out, the more the knee can move. Square it off, make your normal swing and get your body working better. And as your body moves better, you deliver the club more powerfully and consistently, and you really will start hitting some of the best shots you've ever hit.